Have you already broken one or more of your New Year's resolutions? According to research from Scranton University, 92% of people fail to achieve the goals they have set for the year ahead. Have you ever wondered why some people, no matter what they do for a living, are able to quickly increase their sales or advance their careers, while other seemingly good people work hard but never really tap into the success they seem capable of? Why is it that some people have an amazing love affair with their spouse even after they've been married 20, 30, or 40 years? Have a powerful connection with their kids, yet others find themselves growing more and more distant in their most important relationships? Why is it some people always have an abundance of energy? They're able to travel to beautiful places and live a fascinating life full of contribution, meaning, and personal and professional fulfillment. Yet most people live a life in an endless loop of complaining, swept up in a daily routine that is nothing like the life they really want, with a feeling of being trapped by responsibilities and expectations of those around them. Today, I would like to invite you to join me for a free video training program that can give you some powerful insights on how to set and achieve goals that will make 2016 your best year ever. Now, starting with this video and then following up with 2 more videos, you will learn how to design the year ahead so your life will start a steady upward movement until you are truly living the life you've always wanted to live. First, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I know you could be doing so many other things with your time, and I want you to know I take the responsibility, and I'm very serious about making sure the time we have together is valuable. In this video, I will share with you 3 powerful questions that will set you up to have one of the most extraordinary years of your life in the year ahead. These questions can help you advance to a new level financially, or help you make major advancements in your career. They can also help you revive some of the meaningful relationships in your life that have been going the way you want them to be, and the ones that you know you should make better. These questions can help you get into better shape physically, mentally, and emotionally, and they can help you make a far greater impact in the contributions you make to your church, your community, or any cause that you're passionate about. If you have ever felt like you're capable of more, but weren't sure how to get from where you are here to where you want to be, or if you know deep down that you have enormous potential below the surface, but your life feels like it keeps getting in the way, then I want you to know you're in the right place. Maybe today you're already a high achiever and you take pride in what you've been able to accomplish in one area of your life. But you realize that it's costing you in other areas of your life, in your relationships with people that you really care and love. You know you've missed too many of your kids' games or dance recitals because you've been too busy to attend. You know you have not worked hard enough to create regular date nights with your spouse that will keep that relationship strong and vibrant. In your mind, you justify it by saying things like, well, next year it will be different. Once I get those transactions closed, or this project done, things will slow down and I'll have more time. But that time never comes because something else always comes along that seems more important. So let's be honest with each other. You and I both know things never just slow down. In fact, once a driven person reaches one level of success, they immediately set their sights on the next level. Personally, I grew up in Wyoming, and I joined the Marine Corps just a few days after graduating from high school. In the Marines, I was stationed at the Marine Corps Naval Air Station in El Toro, in the heart of Orange County, California. And I fell in love with Southern California. As my 4-year tour of duty was drawing to a close, I started looking for something that would keep me in Orange County. That's when I decided to get a real estate license. Now, as a young man, I was surprised at how difficult selling real estate was, but I threw myself into it. And I quickly found that my real estate career was all-consuming. As a real estate agent, I was exposed to a lot of training on goal setting, and I was pretty good at setting and achieving my sales goals. The company I worked for kept me focused on my productivity, but over the next few years, I ended up working way more than I expected. And after just 4 years, my real estate career cost me a marriage. Then, I was fortunate enough to attend a seminar by Jim Rohn. I learned the reason most people fail to achieve their goals is that when they're asked to set goals, they simply sit down and make a list of stuff they want. They thought they were setting goals, but they're really just daydreaming. Jim also helped me see that to be truly successful, you must have balance in every area of your life. No matter what you accomplish in one area of your life, if you lose everything else, it will not be worth the price. He also helped me understand why my goal setting was somewhat hit and miss, why I set and achieved some of my goals and I failed at others, and why most people set goals over and over again but never accomplish them, always hoping that next year it will be different. Then I had an amazing opportunity to actually go to work for Jim Rohn. The next 2 years that I worked for Jim was like a non-stop personal development seminar. What I learned about setting and achieving goals changed everything in my life. Shortly thereafter, I went on to start a professional services advertising agency that I ran for 30 years, growing it to one of the most successful professional services agencies in the United States. Along the way, I met and married an amazing woman, had 3 fabulous sons, and now have 4 grandkids. I also earned my master's degree in marketing from the University of California at Irvine. My wife and I have traveled the world and have truly lived an amazing life. We have now been married for 31 years. If you have ever gotten derailed from accomplishing what you set out to achieve, or if you have an ambitious goal that you finally want to commit to really accomplishing in the year ahead, I encourage you to watch this series of 3 videos on how to make 2016 your best year ever. If you watch these videos and do the exercises I share, I promise they will give you the foundation you need to make a massive progress in your productivity over the next 12 months. The focus of this video series is to reveal how you can stop feeling overwhelmed and accomplish what matters most to you, both personally and professionally. It will help you tap into your full potential, and there's no better time than right now to set the stage for your success in the year ahead. I will show you how to organize your year so you're able to say yes to the things that really matter and eliminate the things that truly don't matter. The more clear you can become about how to organize your daily life to support your bigger vision in life, the more you'll be able to step into your true potential. You'll be able to stay on track and accomplish everything that you really want and deserve in your life. So my question is, are you ready to make that happen? If you are, then let's go to work. But first, I want to warn you about something. Failing to pay attention to this information will essentially guarantee that this year, the year ahead, will end up like the last year. This video is only for people who honestly want to make changes and are willing to take action on what they hear. For some of you, last year was a very good year. But if you're ready to go to the next level, I promise you're in the right place. This will make a huge difference for you. Now, I know some of you may be a little skeptical. The last thing I want you to think is that just by writing down your goals and posting them on Facebook, you'll magically accomplish them. The average person writes out their goals 10 separate times without accomplishing them. And then they finally give up because they say, well, I've set this, it's never happened. And they settle for a decent life, a good life, but not the life they really wanted. This video series is not full of false hope. It will share a proven process that will help you design your best year ever. It will show you how others make significant progress in their life. And I promise you, it's not because they're smarter or have some mysterious secret power. To get from where you are to where you want to be, it takes intention, plus an effective plan, and a willingness to take action. Finally, it does take some people around you who are going to encourage you and help you on achieving what you want to achieve. The difference between those that do accomplish our goals and the ones that don't is not anything magical. It's that they have the right foundation, the right mindset, and the right system to consistently turn their goals into reality. They have learned how to avoid getting stuck in the urgent and instead follow a process that allows them to stay focused on what really matters in making their goals a reality. It's so easy to allow distraction and interruption to take priority over the things that matter most in our lives. Distraction doesn't care about your intention. It doesn't care if you really mean to make progress in your life or if you care. But getting sidetracked by life's daily distractions always comes at a cost to you. And especially to those that you care about. It means not being able to deliver on your promises. It means being disappointed and frustrated with yourself. It means that the new marketing plan that you wanted to get in place for your business does not get done. It means a friend you've been meaning to call doesn't get called. And it means the family vacation you've been meaning to take gets pushed back for another year. Worst of all, it means the commitments you made to prioritize your family and your health all get pushed down the list because they aren't urgent. Then one day you wake up and ask yourself where the extra 30 pounds came from. Why are you finding it difficult to love your spouse? Why do you feel like you're missing something in your life, your career? If you can relate to any of this, I've got good news for you. It doesn't have to stay that way. The amazing thing about human beings is that any day we have the ability to take action, to change everything in our life. This is so important. Jim said the difference between human beings and animals was that we have the dignity of choice. See, if you look at a goose flies south in the winter, driven by the genetic code. But as a human being, you have a choice, starting today, to tear up your old life script. Start a new one anytime you want. No matter what has happened to you in the past, it doesn't have to equal your future. You, and only you, have the power to change it. You are not driven by genetic code. You can fly whichever way you want to, starting today. And I want to walk you through 3 questions that truly have the potential to change the course of your life. These 3 questions are the foundation of a complete program that I call the 5 steps to living the life of your dreams. I started with what Jim Rohn taught me about goal setting 35 years ago and developed the 5 steps to living the life of your dreams to help me finally conquer the urgent and make meaningful progress towards the important things that I held near and dear to my heart. As I started using this process year after year, every area of my life improved. I was more alive mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I was having far greater impact than I ever was before. Now, people around me even saw the change and asked, well, what I was doing. So I began sharing first with just a few people. And I soon discovered they were all looking for the same thing: clarity. Clarity on what they needed to do to get themselves going in the right direction and to stay on track. This is why I created this free series, and then why I expanded the concepts into the complete 5 Steps to Living the Life of Your Dreams training program. Today, we live in an incredible time of opportunity. Today, we live in an incredible time of opportunity. Never before have we had the opportunity to design or engineer our lives and then have the energy and resources to actually make them a reality. It's such an exciting time. This video series will demystify the process of getting what you want and will put you on the fast track to setting and achieving the goals that are truly important to you. So let's go to work. This is where we will quickly separate the talkers from the doers, because you're going to have to think and then take action. Jim told me the number one reason people fail to set and achieve their goals is because before they sit down and actually set goals, they have not answered the following 3 questions. The first question must be answered clearly before you can do anything else. So the first question is this: what is truly most important to you in your life? Now, this is a very big question. What is truly most important to you in your life? It's such a big question that the average person never truly answers it, because it requires you to stop and think about your life. It requires you to think about your values in details. Jim asked me this question and he said, Greg, before you answer, take a day or two. Think about it, and I want you to write down a list of what you think your 5 most important core values in life really are. Now, the first time I tried this exercise, I will tell you it was hard. First, I thought, what does a core value really mean? I looked up the word value in the dictionary, and it confused me even more. Then I wrote out a list of things that I thought were core values, like honesty, determination, adventure, accomplishment. And I came up with a pretty good list. But I thought to myself, well, gosh, all of these things were important. They're all valuable. But Jim had been very clear. He said, Greg, I want to think about your values, but I want you to think about the 5 core values that are most important to you. In thinking about this, doing a little research, I eventually ran across a definition of core values that resonated with me. It said a core value is the guiding principle that dictates your behaviors and actions. See, once I understood that my values are what dictate my principles or my actions, my behaviors moving forward, it started to become clearer. And once I was really clear on what my core values were, and that they were the drivers of my behavior, it was easier for me to figure out what was really important to me. When I sat down with Jim and gave him my list, he said, Greg, just by going through this exercise, I want you to know you put yourself in the top 1% of people who have learned not just how to set goals, but actually accomplish them, and how to have a life of meaning and significance that truly is a reflection of who they are, their values. He told me, Greg, without a doubt, this is the first and most important step in the goal-setting process. And the failure to take this step is one of the main reasons most people don't ever really accomplish their goals. They haven't figured out what's really important to them at a core level. He said, when I sit down to actually set my goals, I must always have that list of my core values in front of me. And then for every goal I set, I need to ask, is this goal in sync with my core value? He said this is the only way to avoid setting goals that are in conflict with your core values and set up failure right at the very beginning. If your core values or if your goals are in conflict with your core values, you end up sabotaging yourself, working against yourself in actually achieving your goals. Now, Jim said, Greg, the second question you need to answer before you can actually set goals that truly excite you and will drive you forward towards their accomplishment is this. You've got to ask, how exactly do you want to be remembered at the end of your life? Now, as a young man, the end of my life seemed very far away, and I found this sort of hard to do. But Jim said, Greg, unless you think about it now, the years will just go by. I was a little unclear on what exactly he wanted, but as he talked, he asked me to imagine that I was attending my own funeral at some point in the future. Now, I was a little frustrated with this. I'd heard, people doing this, but it seemed unrealistic to me. I mean, why would I want to attend a funeral? But Jim said, well, Greg, first of all, I'm going to think about your own funeral and ask, who would you want to attend your funeral? Who would you want to have enough impact that they felt enough of a connection with you that they would actually attend your funeral? And then, what would you want them to say about your life, the contributions that you have made? Now, when he got down to really thinking about this, it started to hit home. Now, partly, I think it's part of my background. My father is a minister. And as a son of a minister, I will tell you, I have been to more than my fair share of funerals. And the difference between funerals is pretty sobering. People pass away every day. And some people seem to have made very little difference. The people that come to their funeral are very small. They don't have incredibly good things to say about them. While other people seem to have made a huge difference. They touch a lot of people's lives in a meaningful way. And at the funeral, you can tell they had a huge impact on these people's lives. And so this really hit home for me. Over the years, I'd also read a number of personal development books and attended a number of seminars that actually sit down and say you should write out your own eulogy, what you would like to hear at your own funeral. Now, I tried this a number of times, but I don't think I ever really took it seriously. When I finally did, it brought so much clarity to what was really important to me, what difference I truly wanted to make. And it truly changed the goals I was setting for myself. Jim said, by taking this seriously, it helps you get in touch with what's true that core value. Now, my only regret is that I did not make a serious effort at doing this exercise when I was much younger. I thought back to when my son Scott was 16 years old, and one of his good friends committed suicide. And I always think, what if his friend at age 16 had written out his core values, had clearly identified what he wanted to be remembered for? I truly believe if he had, he wouldn't have felt so much pressure to fit in that so many teenagers feel. And most importantly, he would have realized that he did make a difference, that he had a contribution, that his life was worth living. The final question that Jim asked me was this. He said, Greg, what are the one or two most important changes you need to make in your life right now that will ensure you live your values and treat others in a way that will lay your foundation for your life's legacy? And he said, Greg, there's probably one or two things right now that you can do that will now make your life align to be more in congruence with your core values. That'll lay that foundation for your legacy 10, 15, 30, 40 years from now. Now, when Jim asked me this, my first response was, well, there are so many things that I want to change. Jim said, that is why most people fail. They try and change too much, too fast, and it quickly overwhelms them. As I thought back about my change efforts, I realized I'd done that a number of times. I remember when I had put on a few extra weights and I thought, well, gosh, I need to go and get in shape. So I went out, bought a new set of gym clothes, joined a gym, and went crazy. I ran, I lifted weights. I went crazy that first day, and the next day I was so sore I couldn't work out for a month. See, we overwhelm ourselves. He said, that is why I ask you for one or two things. And I want you to think about the one or two things that will make the biggest impact. And if you start working on just one or two things for the next month, and if you go to work on them, and you make a little bit of progress, you will not believe what it will do for you. It will inspire you to work on them even more. And now, as soon as you really have made progress in one thing, you can pick up the next one and you think, what are the next one or two things? And even if you have 400 things that you want to change in your life, the best way to do it is by working on one or two things at a time. See, if you try and change all 400 things, or you try and even focus on them, you will quickly feel defeated and that the task is too big, too hard, too difficult, and you'll end up making no real effort to work on even one. Let's say you wake up and find you are 50, 100 pounds overweight. You know you need to eat healthier and exercise more, so you pick up a book on nutrition, and it says you should eat 2,000 calories a day. And it gives you a breakdown of each food group that you should eat and outlines a reasonable 45-minute a day exercise routine. Now, if you're currently eating 10,000 calories a day and have not exercised for even 5 minutes in the last few years, trying to go from 10,000 to 2,000 calories per day and from 0 minutes of exercise to 45 minutes is simply setting yourself up for failure. You will dramatically increase your chances for success if you ask, how can I cut 1,000 calories a day out of my diet for the next 2 or 3 weeks? And for your exercise plan, say, gosh, how can I start with a 5-minute walk away from my home and a 5-minute walk back? Then, once you feel comfortable with that, move to an 8-minute walk. If you start small and keep at it, you can make amazing progress at whatever you want to accomplish. Over the years, as I've been developing and then teaching people how to set and achieve their goals, teaching the 5 steps to living the life of your dreams, most people want to skip over these questions. They say, Greg, I don't really see the value of going through all that work. I have a hard time believing that that's the reason most people do not achieve their goals. And yet, it is. It comes down to really getting clear on what you really want in your own life. I have come to realize these questions create the blueprint for your life. Before you build a home, you create a blueprint, a design that guides you in what building materials you take to the home site. It dictates how things fit together. Without a blueprint for your home, you just start taking a bunch of building materials and start building different things, but in the end, it's a mess. See, if you don't start with a blueprint for your life, I guarantee you, you might accomplish some things, but in the end, you won't have a feeling that you're totally happy with. You won't be happy with the outcome. Just like your house, your life is the same way. You have to design it in advance. You have to imagine it. Now, here's the great thing. You can design the next 5 years. Or you can let the next 5 years just happen. The next 5 years are going to go by incredibly quickly. The choice is up to you. 5 years from now, I promise you will arrive. The question is where? Will it be where you want your life to be? Or 5 years from now, you wake up and say, gosh, how am I still stuck here, living this life? It goes by so fast. You don't want to take the chance. Now, to help you along this journey, I developed what I call a values clarification worksheet. It will help you determine your core values. It also contains a number of exercises that I've talked about in this video. And if you will simply click on the link below this video, I will email you a copy. And in a couple of days, I will send you the second video in this series. And a couple days later, I'll send you the third video in this series. Filling out your values clarification is the first step in making sure that 2016 is your best year ever. Now, I know some of you watching are probably a little skeptical. You think, gosh, this is free information. How valuable can it be? Please don't mistake value for cost. I know that what I covered is not as exciting as thinking about writing down some inspiring goals, daydreaming about what life could be, fantasizing about winning the lottery. But let me tell you, this is the start to ensuring the goals you set for yourself become a reality. It's truly the start of living the life of your dreams. If you're someone that has not been living the life you really want to live, this is the place to start. It will ensure the next 12 months are not a repeat of the last 12. It'll ensure that you're moving towards where you really want to be. Now, it won't happen overnight, but it'll make progress. I hope you found this video helpful. Now, if you think it would benefit any of your friends, someone you know, I would ask you to share this video on your favorite social media channel, Facebook, Twitter. Also, I would love you to leave a comment below and tell me what your major takeaway was from this video. Also, once you complete the values clarification worksheet, I would love for you to share the insights you learned, what your top core values turned out to be, what insights you got from it, or from doing any of the exercises in the worksheet. Your comments will truly make my day. And they inspire me to keep working to get this message out to anyone it can benefit. I can't wait to see you in the next video. So download the values clarification, do the exercises, leave me a comment, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video.